Did you know? There's this guy in a rabbit mask, carrying a kettle, who stuffed blades right into the homeroom teacher's mouth. He then poured a kettle of boiling water in, torturing the monitor to death. His girlfriend anxiously awaited his return. To find him, she nervously headed to the beach, but all she saw were empty fishing nets, no sign of her boyfriend anywhere. She tried dialing her phone, no signal. The surroundings felt straight out of a horror movie. Terrified, she hurried back to the villa. Passing a corner on the stairs, she spotted a little rabbit painting, feeling an uneasy chill. The vice homeroom teacher walked in and saw a lamp under the blankets, thinking her boyfriend was just snoozing. But when she spoke, there was silence. Something felt off, so she pulled back the covers in surprise. It was just a pillow wearing a rabbit mask. Suddenly, a hand emerged by the bed, startling her. She thought, "What are you doing?" The vice monitor was also kidnapped. Gazing at her boyfriend's mangled state, she was too terrified to scream, so she just stood there holding a stapler, approaching him. Then she flipped his eyelids up and stapled them shut. What are the odds? All she could hear were his horrified screams. In the meantime, the trumpet in his head kept flashing back to all the shadowy memories, and he hadn't had a moment's peace for years. Overwhelmed, he downed a bottle of calming tonic and thought he would go out for some fresh air. Meanwhile, Horrifying was also too tortured to sleep, so he resorted to drinking to numb the pain. Finally, unable to repress his anger, he stormed into the teacher's room. "Teacher, the struggles I've faced over the years are just too much to explain," he passionately lamented, claiming if it weren't for the teacher's cruelty back then, he wouldn't be in this dreadful state today. Just then, he noticed a mysterious figure outside the window. The masked guy. Horrifying panicked and carefully retreated into the bedroom. Terrified, he felt someone approaching from behind, and the next thing he knew, he found himself chained up. To make matters worse, poisonous ants were crawling all over him, infiltrating his ears and nostrils. With no choice, he could only scream in agony, waking up the fish upstairs. Armed with a flashlight, he ventured into the basement, and the sight left him screaming in terror. At the beach, Xiao Hao and Xiao Mei heard his screams. Xiao Hao dashed to the basement, while Xiao Mei hesitated at the entrance. By this point, Xiao Yu was so scared that he could only shake his head in response to Xiao Hao's questions. Xiao Hao was convinced this was Xiao Yun's doing, thinking Xiao Yun is at it again, messing with everyone. Suddenly, Xiao Mei slammed the basement door shut and determinedly headed to the teacher's room. She took off her ever-present sunglasses, revealing her poorly made-up eyes, mumbling, "Teacher, it's not safe here." Meanwhile, in the basement, Xiao Yu and Xiao Hao found a shovel and smashed the wooden door open. Xiao Yu discovered the teacher's door was open and thought, the teacher isn't here. So he decided to call the cops. Fortunately, no call signal, so he searched the toolbox for a flashlight and glow stick to rescue the teacher. Subtitles. Meanwhile, Xiao Mei had already shoved the teacher to the very brink of the cliff, and the teacher was desperately pleading with her not to do so. Just in time, Xiao Yu tackled Xiao Mei, but then she got back up, furious, and grabbed her by the neck. Subtitles. Xiao Yu fought back using a stone on the ground, successfully rescuing the teacher. As she brought the teacher back to the villa, Xiao Hao appeared out of nowhere and knocked her out cold. Xiao Hao tossed the teacher back into the basement and said to Xiao Mei, "See, all of this is your fault." He doused her in gasoline, pulled out a lighter, and prepared to end this once and for all. Suddenly, the masked guy attacked from behind, interrupting everything, and they got into an intense brawl. As Xiao Hao neared suffocation, he saw nearby scissors and used them to fight the masked man. But his opponent clamped down on his neck with ferocity, leading to a cry of agony. The teacher witnessed everything and cried out, "My son," only to be shocked to find that the masked man was Xiao Yun. Xiao Yun was about to smash the teacher with an oversized chair, but fortunately, Xiao Yu appeared just in time to stop him. Although Xiao Yun dropped the chair, the hatred in his eyes was unmistakable. What's even more painful than being dead? Living? Do you know that? And that's the full story from Xiao Yu. After hearing it, the police immediately notified their colleagues to prepare to capture Xiao Yun. When they reached Xiao Yun's place, It looked like it had been abandoned ages ago. Deep inside the house, the officers found an elderly lady sitting in a chair, surrounded by candles of all sizes. But at this point, she was merely a skeleton, clearly having been deceased for quite a long time. The police began inspecting another bedroom, where they found clothes and jewelry that belonged to a girl. The police felt uneasy. Could Zayuan actually be a girl? On the walls, there were several newspapers posted, all telling the stories of the 5 victims. Strangely enough, those people didn't seem as wretched as Zayu had described.